Hi, and welcome to our Google tour. Today, we're going to be talking about millennial goal number 5, which is trying to increase the child mortality rate throughout the world, and specifically in Kiribati. Today, we want to talk a little bit about, first of all, what child mortality rate is. And what that is a probability out of 1,000 newborns that the newborn will live or will die before reaching the age of 5. So die as a young kid. And when the millennial goals were made in 1990, Kiribati had a child mortality rate of 88, which means that 88 children out of 1,000 born would die before the age of 5. Now they've been working really hard to increase the living conditions of Kiribati and increase the opportunities for these children to continue to grow and increase the child mortality rate in the country. And since then, as you can see from this graph, we can see that they steadily increased over time. In 1990 they were at 88, and they've gone down, or by 2004 they had gone down by 7.4% to 65. 26.14% to 65. And we wanted to find a little bit more about that and try and find some better numbers. So we dug a little bit deeper and we found this graph. I found this graph. And as we can see, in 1990 we have the same child mortality rate as the other graph, about 88. And by 2011, just 2 years ago, they had almost halved that rate to 47.4, which is excellent. And it means that a lot of children are living past the age of 5, and the living conditions are becoming a little bit better as the technology and the medical care in Kiribati continues to be on the rise. So, as we saw in that last picture, the target goal was to reduce it by 2/3. So they still have a couple more years to get that number down a little bit, but they're on track to reach a reasonable goal for child mortality rate. What we want to do now is go and look at a couple pictures. Now the issue that I see with the child mortality is that although it's wonderful that it's going down and more children are living past the age of 5, that the Kiribati itself, because the mortality rate is going down, that means the living are going up, and Kiribati itself is running out of room to store these people, to give them places to live. With the more children that are coming into the world and surviving, we'll discuss this later, but the rising seas in Kiribati are forcing the main islands to get overcrowded. There's about 51,000 people living on the capital of Tarawa, which is only a 35-kilometer long sliver of coral, which means that there's about 5,200 people living per square mile, which is comparable to London. And these people here, they actually have to live in little shanties next to the airport because there's no more room to build their houses. We see children running around on polluted beaches because there's simply no more room for the garbage to go than out to sea as the seas rise. The fresh water is running out with those rising seas. And just one more picture here. This man, as you see in the caption, he used to get gas from this site, and it now stands in ruins. So this is the main issue that I see with child mortality, is that they are running out of room and they're running out of places to put people. My solution would be, well, there's a couple of options. My thinking and the thinking of experts here is to start the migration of the people off of the main islands. Here we see the main islands of Kiribati, with Tarawa being the capital, and what I think they should do is start to migrate people to the outer islands But the problem with that is that some of these islands are over 2,000 miles away, even though they're still in the same country. But that is the only way that these people will be able to survive with this child mortality rate going up. But as they prepare for this migration, as they prepare to start a new life somewhere else, whether it be here or an island of another country or just another country in itself, Kitty Bus is going to have a lot on their plate. With the blessing of having child mortality rate comes this blessing of or this curse of having to move away from their homes. But Kitty Bus is working on the solution, and hopefully within the next 30 to 50 years they should have everyone off the islands and moved into their new homes. Thank you for joining us in this Google tour, and we will see you soon.